Good evening and welcome to the High Point Racing GT Challenge, the latest round. We are at the Sebring circuit in Florida, USA. I am Tom Kent in the commentary position. Alongside me is Hamish Munro. He'll be with me to share his thoughts on the action that lie ahead of us. I believe we are into qualifying now, or have just finished qualifying, and we've got a warm-up session before the race begins. Although qualifying is concerned, we're around about 4 minutes to go there. And so far, in terms of the classes, it is Daniel Pino who's fastest in the GT3 Pro, and then it's Jacob Kotterman fastest in GT3 Pro. In GT4, it's Aidan Kiley at the head of that, and then in GT4 at the moment is Lance Campbell. Let's bring Hamish into the booth and have a word with him to keep us up to let us know how things have been going in this championship. Hamish, welcome. How much are you looking forward to this evening?
I'm really looking forward to it, actually, Tom. I think Sebring's obviously, it's one of the homes of sports car racing for the US. Of course, well known for IMSA racing here with the 12 hours of Sebring. Of course, WEC came here, did the 1,200 kilometers of Sebring as well. It's a fantastic circuit. It's one that can be quite divisive, of course. Some people love it, some people hate it, but it is a track that I think will offer up some good challenges tonight. Not a lot of elevation changes across the course either. It's a circuit that, you know, realistically, it almost looks like pseudo Road America a little bit. It has a very similar shape, very similar feel to it as well. It's almost like Road America without the elevation changes. And I think the big challenge tonight is trying to find not only an overtaking opportunity, keeping your car in a line of stern as well. I think the three major factors of this circuit, the first one, is the different surfaces that this track has through the tarmac to tarmac concrete composite to just concrete, based on the fact that this circuit is a former Air Force base as well. And then you add the fact of some of the curbs of death around here, namely the one just before Lamar Corner, and then obviously those two massive straights as well. The whole circuit is going to offer a great challenge to these drivers tonight, not just for our GT3 classes of the Pro and Pro-Am, but also for our GT4 classes of the Am and Rookies as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that works out. A lot of these drivers should have some experience at this track if they've been doing sports car racing for quite a fair while now. And they should have experience here dealing with traffic as well and traffic management. They've done 7 rounds up to this point, Tom, so their traffic management skills should be up to par. It's probably one of the best tracks you can deal with traffic as well, because it's nice and wide and there's plenty of overtaking opportunities. So we should be in for a good race, and I'm excited to see how these drivers do tonight.
Yeah, and looking at the championship standings in GT3, Nathan Biggett is top of the standings by quite some way, actually. So for 480 clear over Justin Bock in second place. It's Ryan Boyce Jolie in the third position, then it's, followed by Tristan Richard, and it's Steve Smith in fifth place there. In the GT4s, in that respective class, it's comprising of the pros and the AMs. Lance Campbell leads on 2,580 points. He's 498 clear over second place Cole Maley, and it's Tyler Hammond in third place on 1,612. He's nearly 1,000 points off the leader, so it looks like Lance Campbell is kind of got one hand on the GT4 trophy. In GT3 it's a little bit more open there. There are quite a number of rounds still to go this season. We'll run down on the calendar in a moment, but I'm looking forward to this race, actually. I do like Sebring. I like how the track narrows out after turn 1, and then drivers are settling into a rhythm. And when we get round to the back straight before the last corner, that's where a lot of the action can be very, very exciting indeed. I expect to see a lot of maybe a bit of strategy involved in this, because strategy is what decides races in this respective championship. And you can see the Daniel Pino top so far in the GT3 Pros, and it's Cloden in the top of GT3 Pro Am, and we've got Lance Campbell top of GT4 Am on the timing pages, and it's Kylie in GT4 GT4 Pro top of that. Lots of more times coming in as the clock reaches 0 and the checker flag is out.
Yeah, technically it is classified as GT4 rookie class. It's an interesting classification, but we'll see how those rookies, in quotes rookies, do in the GT4s at the back of the field tonight. One of the big talking points, I think, what we've seen this season, Tom, through a couple of different partnerships we've had in this booth, we've kind of all agreed that, from what we've seen, so GT4s, we get some really good racing for maybe P2 to first place on the road, like a good little 4-pack battle most weeks. A lot of the cars, Malley, Nance, Cerulic, even Campbell, quite often enough stay nice and tightly contested together, and they'll often find each other again towards the end of the race as Biggett just comes around to end out his qualifying attempt here. He needs a 1:59 if he hopes to go to the top. Pino's the only one to get underneath the 2 minutes. Here comes Biggett to cross the line. The ever so dominant championship leader cannot get there to a 1:59. He'll have to sit with a 2-minute .154. He'll start front row and he'll start P2 on the road in that Mustang. The other talking point that we've often seen this season as well is how some drivers have thrown away wins. So Jed Cotterman, for example, in that GT3 Pro-Am class, has thrown away a couple of wins just from a couple of minor mistakes throughout the season, and he has a belief that he could have won a lot more races this season within that class if he had managed to find the glue to stick things together across the portion of the season. We then also look at some of the mistakes that have been getting made by championship leader Nathan Biggett the last few weeks. He's had a couple of spins. It's cost him a win here and there. And with Daniel Pino arriving on the scene in this series a few weeks ago, it's all of a sudden put some pressure on Biggett because he has a driver now who can not only match him for pace, but can actually beat him on pace as well, as we've just seen in qualifying. So pressure's on to Biggett now. The pressure is starting to get applied a little bit more down at the past halfway point of the season. And, as we look ahead, Tom, to the rest of this season, of course, we've got Road Atlanta next week, then Bathurst, then Monza, then Spa. The upcoming 4 rounds, as we take around about a 1 month's break between Road Atlanta and oh, no, we don't. They've just accidentally written September on the 27th for Bathurst. It's in August, so that's fine. But we look at Road Atlanta, we look at Bathurst, look at Monza, look at Spa. I would argue 3 out of those 4, Tom, could really shake up the championship. I think Monza not so much, just because it's a bit more high speed, a bit harder to really get massive incidents happening. Bathurst is an absolute crapshoot. It's the same with Spa. Road Atlanta is the one for me, though, that's going to be interesting next week. Seeing how these drivers traverse that short circuit, deal with the traffic as well. It's a very enticing next 4 weeks to come. After tonight's event here at Sebring, and I think we're going to be in for a hell of an end to this championship as the cars are just about to get gridded up now.
And so the drivers are waiting as we run down on the grid. It's Daniel Pino on pole ahead of Nathan Biggett. There's Kenneth Cloden in 3rd place and Justin Bock in 4th. And it's JP Cotterman and Ryan Boyce-Jolie in 5th and 6th. There's Jed Cotterman and Scott Petrone on row 4. Stephen Smith and David Steiner on the 5th row of the grid. Brian Scott and Laken Short on row number 6. And we head further down the grid. We've got Tristan Richard in 30th alongside Andrew Voigt. John Swan and David Gallant are on row 8, followed by Anthony Crownover and Mark Ozier on row 9. Then we go to the GT4s. We've got Lance Campbell alongside Ryan Cerulic and Daniel Nuns and Cole Marley on row 11. Stefan Jacobi and Tyler Hammond make up the 12th row of the field. Then we go to John Voigt and Aidan Kiley on the 13th row. They go followed by Andrew Hullerman and Ed Delano. In 29th and 30th place are Matt LaRue and Carlos Sierra. And in 31st place on his own on the 16th row of the grid is Pat Green.
Yeah, speaking of Cole Malley, we figured out last week, Tom, that we saw on his camera, he's really serving some real chemistry substitute teacher energy, but also banker energy as well. He's been given the nickname the banker now by the league, so we'll see if he can find some funds and really cut the numbers on trying to get a race win here tonight amongst that GT4 class. Brian Scott not starting on the grid this evening, so we'll do our shortened draw around lap. Last time we were at this circuit for the IMSA championship in this series, and then a couple of weeks ago, massive chaos at the final corner on the warm-up lap, Tom, where we had LMP2s and GTDs making contact before the race that even started, but lights are up, we look to go green.
Yeah, so the drivers have just exited the final hairpin of the Gulf Sunset Band. The green flag is waving, and it's go in Sebring. And it's a good start from Daniel Pino, as he'll have the inside line for turn number 1 as we watch the GT3s head through there, as we see Nathan Biggett to the outside of Daniel Pino. And the track narrows out, and so they'll have to be on their best behaviour, but not quite so. Further back, looking to see that's John Swan, who's gone round in what looks like the Cadillac, to our understanding, and now he's just going to have to wait for the GT4s to go past before he can safely rejoin. But so far, it is Daniel Pino leading the way in the GT3 Pros, and it's Nathan Biggett in second place, Justin Bock in third, and it's Tristan Richard who's found his way up into fourth, and it's Stephen Smith, Scott Petrone, David Steiner, David Gallant, Ryan Bosjoli, and Laken Shaw, those two swapping places for the last placings in that respective class. In GT3 Pro Am, Jacob Cotterman and Kenneth Clodin have swapped places for the lead, and it's Jed Cotterman and Andrew Voigt in third and fourth, Mark Ozier and Antti Kronover.
Oh my God, top
safe,
three.
And that's a collision.
Oh my God.
That's a massive collision. That's Cotterman and Voigt, I believe, that have come together. Or is it Ozier? No, it's Clodin, sorry.
Yeah,
it's Kenneth Clodin who has got involved in that. That was a wild whack there. I'm going to get a replay to see. I think this is going on further back in the GT4s.
Yeah, the GT4s, they were approaching that same corner just after it happened, it seemed.
No, it's very light concept.
No, not even important. Compared to this, McLaren's all over the road, 3 of them. Clodin makes contacts. You see there with the right hand or left hand rear. That then shoots over and hits into Jacob Cotterman. I was about to give Jacob some props there. He out-qualified his dad, Jed, in the GT3 Pro-Am class, and was actually leading the class as well into that corner. Well, now that he's gone to the wayside, his dad, Jed, has now taken the lead, and he's got a few positions between himself and Andrew Voigt in P2 in that class.
60% fuel these drivers are on. We expect fuel and tyre stops during this race, and we'll keep an eye on those that are pitting in compared to others. Pino leads the way, Biggett in second place, and as Hamish mentioned, Jed Cotterman is the leader in GT3 Pro-Am. In the GT4s, well, Edward Delano is leading in his 666 BMW, and it's Andrew Halleman in second place and Aidan Kiley in third. In the GT4 AMs, Cole Marley and Lance Campbell are leading. I think Cole Marley just got ahead of Lance Campbell.
He has.
So Cole Marley, who started in 4th position out of all those in his respective category, has found himself in the lead by the second lap.
Well, in fact, he's leading the whole GT4 class at the moment. Campbell and Cerulic trying to stay with him. Campbell's done well here to stay with that Merc, but Cerulic would love to catch up, make this a little triple threat for us at the front of the GT4 class here. I also noticed as well that I think it was John Voigt, who's in pit lane now, had a meatball flag and now has to get that car fixed up in amongst this GT4 class as well. This battle, though, we'll keep an eye on a bit later on in this race because it looks to get heated up for us here between the GT4 leaders at this stage. The GT3s, well, amongst the Pro-Ams and the Pros, they're staying nice and closely contested. Cotterman's being put under pressure here, Tom, by Stephen Smith just on his heels. He has got 2 cars between himself and Andrew Voigt in P2 in class. I don't know if Jed's going to want to let these guys pass him, though, as they are scored on an overall level amongst the GT3s for both classes. So for at the moment, Jed's getting points for 4th. Voigt will get points for 7th. So that'll help him in his championship hopes amongst this Pro-Am class here for the GT3s.
Jed heading over the line. You can just see he's fending off Andrew Voigt and Kenneth Clodin to begin lap number 3 and heading towards turn number 1. And so far, Jed doing everything right. He's got the fast lap of the race so far out of everyone in the field on that second lap. And I think we've also, I think Matt LaRue has fallen back down the field. He's at the back out of all the GT4s. Pretty much everyone else is still going. John Voigt did rejoin the race, for your information. He's already about to be lapped by the GT3s.
Yeah, this was the moment here for Matt LaRue and how he ended up off track. I'm unsure. He's in that. Oh, he just got really loose.
Yeah.
That was a weird tank slapper for that car to then get shot round and into the wall. That would explain why he had a way he's gone into pit lane just to get that car fixed up. John Swan has had another incident as well here, Tom. We'll get back and have a quick look at this. This is down at the final corner, it seems. He has jumped to pit lane, ran it way wide in that Corvette, and massive rear end contact into the tyre barrier. That car is destroyed. That's a good souvenir for a fan down there, that rear bumper of that car, but straight back into pit lane, and that car's got a meatball, and I don't think it'll be going anywhere anytime soon.
No, I doubt it either. And that was a big hit into the barrier at Sunset for John Swan. And I don't know whether he'll actually rejoin the circuit, but it's going to be a lengthy repair job before we can see him back out on circuit. And we are still with the leader of GT3 Pro-Am, Jed Cotterman, who is ahead of the Porsche 26 of Andrew Voigt. And then it is Kenneth Cloddin in third place after he had gone off on the first lap with Jacob Cotterman.
Oh my God, the fastest lap of the race with Daniel Pino, Tom, a 1:59.9 that lap. He is the only driver I think we've seen through qualifying and now through the race to get into the 1:59. That's ridiculous to get that sort of lap time under race pace conditions. Pino, I mean, we've kind of given him the nickname El Drago. He's breathing fire at the moment out of that Merc. I mean, Biggett's staying with him. He did a 2:21 the last lap. He only gave up 3/10, but if Pino can hit 59s every single lap, Biggett's going to be nowhere compared to him by the end of this race.
Well, Biggett needs to pick up the pace if he's got any hope of winning this one, and just keeping hold of his lead in the championship. Well, to be fair, he's already he's more than a race win ahead of everyone else. So if there was one round where he can afford to lose a little, or drop some ground over everyone else, it's probably this round. Looking at where Pino is in the championship, well, he only just came in a couple of rounds ago, so he's got a long way to catch up. So there's no way he's going to be winning the championship.
No,
I think what Nathan Biggett will be thinking about is Justin Bock, because he's the nearest driver to him in the standings. He'll be keeping an eye on him, and the same with Ryan Boscioli, who's a little bit further down in 9th position than GT3 Pro.
Yeah, Bajoli's been really struggling the last few weeks to keep that car on the road. I'm unsure if it's the pressure that's been getting to him, or maybe it's the sudden change in BOP for the McLaren now over the last few special events. Of course, we've run through the Watkins Glen 6-hour and the Sebring 24-hour as well across this series. At least it's running concurrently during those events. BOP will change as well within the next month, Tom, as we approach the 6 hours of the Brickyard in Indianapolis. So this car may change again. It may get nerfed, it may get buffed. We're unsure. But at the moment, at least for the last few weeks since Spa, Ryan has been really struggling to keep this car under him, and really struggling to find pace in this car and keep it nice and clean on the road as well.
Lights are coming on these cars now, the front led by. So I don't know how quickly the transition is in the sky fading to darkness. We'll see as the race pans out. But so far so good for Daniel Pino, leading the way. In the GT3 Pro-Am, it is Jed Cotterman, 4 seconds clear over his nearest rival, Andrew Voigt. Lance Campbell in GT4 Am, only just ahead of Cole Marley, who's set the fast lap of the race within that group, and he's right on the tail of Lance as they come out of turn 1. We've got Aston Martin leading the 3 cars behind him. They're all in Mercs.
There's about a 6-second gap between Stefan Jacobi and the top 3, which has now got Ryan Sarulik on the back of this battle as well. So I mentioned that you know, front runners of GT4s, they eventually find each other. We normally get 3 or 4 cars battling away for either a race lead or P2 on the road. Looks to be a very similar scenario this week here at Sebring, with Cyrillic and Malley looking to bring the pressure and bring the challenge to the Canadian in Lance Campbell up ahead of them at this stage of the race. We're only 10 minutes in though, Tom. It's flown by. I often find Sebring, first 10 minutes of the race, absolutely flies by, as David Gallant has gone off the road in the Acura. He was battling away with Ryan Bajole not too long ago. Hopefully there hasn't been contact made between them down at what appears to be Lamar Corner. I say hopefully, just for Ryan's sake. For David's sake, it looks to be he did it on his own, and he just lost the rear end. Ryan with amazing evasive action there, gets out of the way. But that Acura has had to be brought back on the track. In fact, he's just had another moment here as well, Tom, so it's only gotten worse for him. In fact, he's now just towed back to pit lane. I mean, it's only one corner later, and it's real struggle bug action for him.
Yeah, oh dear. It was a very weird one, that, for David Gallant.
Very odd
He's
indeed.
back into pit lane he goes. We'll see if he does come back out onto the racetrack. He's now at the bottom of all the GT3 pros, so he's just going to have to get to the end of this. But it feels to me like he's out for good. So that is the first retirement of the race. John Swan did rejoin, albeit he's a lap down, almost on his on the class leader Jed Cotterman. So he has some catching up to do there. John Voigt is still going as well after he pitted in for repairs at the end of the first lap. He is running in 8th position in GT4 AM behind Pat Green, who is around about half a lap ahead of him.
You know what? Fair play to John Swan to keep going at this point of the race. I mean, he could have backed out and he would have finished probably dead last if he had done that. But now he's gained a position because David Gallant's pulled out of the race after his own incident. So for John, if he can just stay in it. Now, I know the Corvette's been kind of nerfed over the last few months. It's really gone backwards compared to what it once was only a year or so ago when it first released into the iRacing service. Almost feels like the Lamborghini 2.0 in that sense there, Tom, that it's just been completely flipped on its head. Hopefully it does return, though, to a strong car in future. And for John, you know, he can't change cars now. We're past the no change point this season. He is just pushing on, though. He is still on the lead lap at this stage, but you can see he's right there, right in front of the class leader of Jed Cotterman and of Justin Bock in P3. So he's already gone a lap down on the race leaders of Pino and Bigot. Bigot finally matching Pino, getting a 159.71 that last lap as well, Tom. But he is under pressure here to go a lap down as he... Oh, it's such a shame. Goes around, backs it into the wall again. Your heart has to go out to him at this point. I mean, he's trying to push on, but just small mistakes like that, and it really hurts the passion and the confidence that you have to push these cars.
No such problems at the moment for the GT3 Pro Am leader Jed Cotterman. He has been able to bridge out the gap over Andrew Voigt. It's now over 4 seconds. The closest battle we've got on circuit is, I believe, the battle for 4th place in GT4 AM, because you can see that the Brazilian Stefan Jacobi has got Daniel Nans right on his tail. Oh, you can just see that Jacobi, I think it might be pronounced as, has got Nans right on his, well, to the left-hand side of him. And there goes Nans, having to tuck him behind. He wasn't exactly alongside enough to even think about getting overtake down there, so he'll have to remain patient for the time being. Oh, that's a spin. That'll be for Stefan Jacobi, so that sorts that particular battle out for Daniel Nans as Jacobi rejoins in 6th position in GT4 AM. Carlos Sierra in GT4 Pro, I believe, or it might be rookies thinking of it, has got Aidan Kiley to his tail. We've got 2 Aston Martins, 1 and 2 in that. Andrew Hullerman is in 3rd place ahead of Ed Delano and Matt LaRue, who is trying to make up for lost time. He's run out 20 seconds off Ed Delano, 4th position, so he has some work to do there. Jed Cotterman, posts the fast stop of the race in GT3 Pro Am, looking strong and continuing to set the pace ahead of his rivals.
They've just managed to catch up to the GT4. Traffic has changed for the race lead now as Bigot goes up the inside of Daniel Pino towards turn 7. Takes the race lead. He's found his groove, it seems, Tom. He ran a 1:59.71 only a lap ago. Last lap, though, a 1:59.72. So he's got the consistency up in running those 59s. Pino's been able to run 59s as well, but he has had some swaying of the hundredths and the thousandths and the tenths below the second. When a 1:59.67 and the last lap was a 1:59.80. So he's got to find a little bit more consistency, but now that he's tucked up behind that Mustang, he'll be able to just hang on the back of him, maybe save a little bit of fuel as well. But this battle's not over just yet. I feel it's going to go all the way to the end because Pino's hungry to get race wins, so is Bigot. Neither of them are going to give it up for free, but GT4 Traffic could have a part to play.
Yeah, and you can just see the disposing the first of those GT4s as they head through. And Pino is looking to get back what he feels is rightfully his from Bigot as they head towards sunset. And Pino taking a wider line. Will that help him all the way down the pit straight? It usually helps, but I think when he went through the apex, he had to lift off the buckle to make sure the car got through safe and sound. He is on the rear of Bigot as we look on the rear wing onboard camera of the Mustang. Pino is not able to find a way through that time around. And I think, yes, you are right, Hamish. Back markers are going to play a role in how this race could end up being decided by.
Yeah, I think you catch a pack of GT4 cars at the wrong time, and that could really halter your progression around this place and your progression through this race as well. We noticed that there's a couple of small battle packs happening in the GT4 class. We've got Hammond and I believe Daniel Nans battling away, but also Cerulean and the race leader of Lance Campbell as well, plus Malley, who's about a second off of Cerulean too. So there's these guys are going to be coming up on a pack of 2 cars battling away, and then a pack of 3 cars battling away as well. And if they don't catch them before the back straight, before they get up to sunset, they're going to have to try and deal with them on the infield. And it's one of the hardest sections of track to deal with the slower traffic, especially in these GT3 cars. They don't have quite as much, obviously, pace advantage off the acceleration as what maybe a GTP or an LMP2 car would have in comparison to a GT3. But when you go GT3 to GT4, these guys have got more top end, but the acceleration is, it's not worlds away like those prototype classes. But as we ride here with Pino, you can just see keeping it nice and tight through those switchback sections. Bigot, it still looks like that Mustang handles a bit like a boat, Tom. Just trying to keep it on the road, but Pino's got some good pace and he's got a bit of a run, but I don't think he's going to go for the move just yet. He might try and get it done around the outside, but that there is a massive, massive gamble, and it could cost him some time as well. He somehow pulls it up. I don't know how he managed to, but now he's getting frustrated, stuck behind that Mustang.
Yep, it's going to come down to the pit stops. Will Pino decide to attempt an undercut? He's got 14 seconds in hand over the third place driver, Justin Bock. Steve Smith, I know, a couple of seconds back. So it's not a big enough window for Pino to think about going for a pit stop at this moment in time, but it is something he's going to try and work on. But if he can just stay in touch with Bigot, provided Bigot keeps up with his pace, then that could make Pino's life easier when it comes to pitting in and then getting out in clear air.
Yeah, he could possibly go for somewhat of an undercut here. I don't know if it's worth taking tyres though, Tom. We know that undercut strategy works best when you do take tyres because then you obviously get grip advantage. I don't know how well it's going to work because I've just lost the timing, so let me just fix that up for us. But it's been a stellar race thus far between, not only amongst the classes, but even inter-class battles as well of pro-ams versus pros, and even amongst the GT4s as well. We've actually been getting some really good racing here, which is really good to see. So, hopefully this continues on. and hopefully we continue to get some good battles. But as we reach sort of the more towards the halfway point of this race, and we start to reach the pit stop period as well, the field will likely begin to just spread out a little bit before we get back to some close battles towards the checkered flag of this race.
We've got another retirement in Ed Delano in the GT4 rookie. We don't know where he's done that moment at. He is saying that he picks up damage, so I wonder if it was a crash that he had. Oh, you just see Bigger got held up by the back marker, one of the GT4s, and that could be the opportunity for Pino to think about going for it before turn 1. Has he found a way through? The answer to that question is no that time. And that's another opportunity missed for Pino. But Bigger, well, he was lucky that he didn't run into the back of the pink liveried BWT car.
The important thing now is, and I think the important little note we have to put onto this is, they're now approaching, they've got about 9 seconds or so, you can see them in the background in fact, to the top 3 battle for the GT4 class. Top 3 for GT4 overall, top 3 for GT4M as well. And these guys are separated by roughly 1.5 seconds of Malley, Cyrillic and Campbell. But the race leaders now are beginning to chase them down. They're not too far behind them. And I don't know if they're going to catch them before the back straight, Tom. It's going to be tight. If they can catch them by the back straight, it's not going to be as bad as what it would be if they were catching them amongst this infield section here. But to me, it looks like they're going to get them right before the switchbacks towards the curb of death in Lamar corner. And that there could be the opportunity for Pino to take advantage and sneak past Bigot if he's lucky.
They head out of the infield. That was the Bishop Bend they went through. Then it would be the Genderby Bend. And then Le Mans. And yeah, I think you're absolutely right. They've caught up to that trio of cars. Pino's going to make the most of the slipstream. They go round one of the GT4s. That is one of the Mercs of which they just lapped there. I wonder if that was John Voigt who was trying to get back into the action, or it might have been Stefan Jacobi.
That was Cole Malley in P3 in class, because they've just come past Cyrillic and Campbell into Sunset. Somehow came out unscathed through all that there, Tom. So somehow they didn't make any changes. They just traversed on through together. But I think Pino's going to be patient here, and he's going to wait for a really good opportunity to get past Bigot if it really shows itself, because he knows that Bigot's made mistakes in the past. He knows that he's spun the car before. He's just going to try and keep the pressure on him. You know, keep that in the back of Bigot's mind, because that there could cost Bigot at some point in this race. It's always a factor now since the last 3 rounds, so there's always an opportunity for Pino to get past him.
Well, there's those back markers out of the way. The ones that are running in the lead in GT4 AM. Lance Campbell, Ryan Cyrillic and Cole Malley. It's a brilliant battle to watch between those 3. We're seeing it now. That is Campbell in that number 17. Ahead of Cyrillic in the number 48 Merc. And then just behind him, we just saw the front headlights of Cole Malley in the number 2 Merc. In terms of times, well, Carlos Sierra has posted the best lap so far in his class. It looks like Pat Green has come into the pit lane there. I don't know if that's a scheduled pit stop or whether he's encountered some form of issue on that particular tour before he pitted him.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It looks like he's just driven it into pit lane. There's been no incident reported for him, so it could just be a scheduled pit stop for Pat. That then says to me, Tom, that he's probably going to need 2 stops tonight. We've seen the drivers, they've not really been able to force the issue without safety cars getting called this season to try and go for a 1-stop strategy. That's through all 4 subclasses and both car classes as well. So I think it's going to be a 2-stopper tonight. How that plays out for these drivers, I'm unsure. Only time will tell in how this all plays out for them. But we've really spread out here, unfortunately, and I think that's actually due to Sebring itself, Tom, if I'm honest with you. I find it's a track that can really spread the cars out, but we're getting some great battling at the front of the GT4s, and I feel like we've got to show this off. But we've also got to show off the fact that the race leaders have just caught a GT4 car, and it's nearly cost Nathan Bigot the race lead. We don't know where to look at the moment, Tom. There's action aplenty.
Yeah, there is a lot, and that has helped Pino a little bit. But Biggert has been able to stretch out the 9 a second now on Pino. I think Pino's momentum has been knocked a little. There goes Cyrillic at turn 2 on Lance Campbell for the lead in the GT4 AM. And that was a super overtake from Cyrillic on the inside, and Campbell was kind enough to leave in space. But now, is he going to have the pace to go after him and get back through, most particularly on the Oldman Straight before sunset?
Well, he's just unable to sit close enough and get close enough under brakes. Maybe not enough confidence to pull the car up into that section. They've now got Justin Bock. So that's the distance between Justin Bock and Nathan Biggert and Daniel Pino. We saw those guys pass these GT4s only about a lap and a half ago. So that is 16 seconds. That is the gap between the race leaders of the GT3 class for the pros specifically and overall to P3 in Justin Bock. It's a massive gap. Bock's best lap time in this race, Tom, only a 2-minute 0.7. The top two have been running 159s, and they've been running 159s even with traffic as well. So for Bock, I think he needs to hope that they maybe have a little cuddle somewhere around this circuit, maybe knock themselves off, because otherwise I don't see a world in which he can catch them at that sort of pace that they're running.
I don't think he's got any chance of catching them, Justin Bock. I think it looks like between Biggert and Pino for the win. Jed Cotterman's advantage over Andrew Voigt in the GT3 Pro AMs is stretched to 10 seconds. Cyrillic and Campbell, we spoke about their battle. That's died down a little, with Campbell trying to fend off Cole Marley for second, and Carlos Sierra leading the way by over 11 seconds, with Aidan Kiley the nearest challenger to him.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, not unfortunate for Carlos. He's been really dominant thus far this season as we're getting our first proper GT3 pit stop now as David Steiner comes into pit lane. And he'll drop down the order a little bit now, but the other GT3 is going perhaps a lap longer. Jed Cotterman getting put under pressure here from a GT3 Pro car in Lake and Shore. Now, as I mentioned earlier, these guys are not battling for class, rights, at least for driver classes, but they are racing for overall points. The GT3s are scored on an overall level, and then they're subdivided for their classes. So, for example, if Cotterman were to win this race, he's currently in P5, he'd get points for P5. P2 in class, Andrew Voigt, would get points for P8, 2 positions behind him. So that's the kind of spread that can then start to win you a championship if you can do well amongst this second tier class in the GT3s. Same thing for the GT4 rookies as well. But unfortunately, as for our GT4 rookie class, the race leader's not really being challenged at the moment by Aidan Kiley. 11.8 seconds is separating the two of them as they battle away. Well, as they've been battling away earlier in this race. So, it's a bit of a shame that they've spread out so much here, Tom, but hopefully they can find each other again by the end of the race and we can get a top-level battle happening for our GT4 rookie class at the back of the field.
Could it be the fact that some drivers are putting a lighter amount of fuel in there, or is it the fact that they are all using the same amount of fuel, but just maybe not going at the pace we normally see them to? Daniel, Pino's in the pits now, for your information.
There we go, so Pino in. I think it more or less just comes down to the skill level, Tom, if I'm honest with you. I mean, I do like that they've done 2 classes per car, but I think because of how spread out the GT4s can get, I almost feel like they should just have a GT4 class and not have the AM and rookies. The AM and rookies. I feel it should just be GT4s, because that way, we could have, Sierra battling away with Jacoby if he could catch him, or with Nance who's just come through pit lane, and it would be for championship contention. It wouldn't be that they're in a separate class. Majority of the GT3s have come in, by the way, not just Pino. Bock, Bajole, Cotterman are being Jed, Stephen Smith, Shaw, Voigt, Clodden, Richard, Scott, Jacob Cotterman's in as well. So Biggert has managed to go a lap longer. And in fact, if he can actually make it to the 30-minute mark here, Tom, he could do this with a 1-stop in this race, where everyone else, they might need a second later on here at Sebring. So this strategy could play out well for Biggert, but it's massive fuel save game. And, well, it's a big effort to try and go for a one-stop strategy here. Even bigger effort for those who have just pit if they're trying to go for a one-stop strategy, because they've got to find another minute's worth of time. And if they go a lap longer at the end of this race, so they cross the line with 10 seconds to go on the clock, well, they may need to pit again.
Yeah, someone's almost parked up on the right-hander of Le Mans before the almond straight. Couldn't see who that was. But there we see Nathan Biggett going through Sunset. Is he going to come in at the end of this lap? We are now halfway through this race.
Oh my God.
And it's only convenient for Nathan Biggett to come in. Can Daniel Pino complete an undercut?
Yeah, we'll see if he can undercut him. That was Marc Ogier as well at pit entry, who had gone round on when he came round to come into pits. In fact, I actually don't think he meant to come into pit lane then, Tom. I think he just had a mistake at the final corner. We'll show a replay of that when we find out if Pino is going to get past Biggett off this undercut strategy. Pino taking a 25.3 second stop. Justin Bock took about 2 seconds less on that last stop there, Tom. So very interesting how these strategies could play out for them now. Pino probably caught the GT4 traffic at the right time there, right at Sunset, got up the inside. But the GT4's going to try and come back at him. But Biggett's just exiting pit lane now, and he took a 2 second faster pit stop than what Pino did. So that's given Nathan Biggett a fair lead now over Daniel Pino. It's time for Pino to switch on and try and chase down the race leader, because all of a sudden he's got a fight on his hands.
Yeah, he's a long way back now, is Pino. You look at the gap of over 4 seconds between the pair of them. It looks like Nathan Biggett could well be on his way to another win this campaign. Jed Cotterman is he's done his alley. He's just done his pit stop, so he's still in the lead and he's well and truly clear of Andrew Voigt. And in the GT4 AMS, it's Lance Campbell. I mean, to be fair, the top four are all in the pits, and we expect Campbell, or Cyrillic, I should say, to come out in the lead over Lance. And yeah, I do agree with what you're saying with the GT4 AMS and the GT4s. It's just easier if they were all in one group. That way you've got a GT4 class without even need to put, okay, what kind of, are they pros, are they pro-AMS or AMS? Make of that what you will.
Yeah, I think it's, I think because of the fact, I mean, tonight we've got, what, I think it's 14 GT4s. You could have them as one class with 14. I think that way you can, you know, everyone can fight for it, and it means that, you know, if, again, as I said, if say Sierra was battling away with Hammond, it's for class points. It's not just for pride to beat an AM. It's you are battling somebody for position. That's just my opinion. You know, whoever's watching can take that opinion with a grain of salt if they wish. That's how I feel. Would maybe be the best way to classify them. But you know, everyone has an opinion. Not everyone's going to agree with that opinion, Tom. But I just think that would be the best way to keep it nice and contested amongst the GT4s. But in saying that, they're not struggling for a good contest, because the race leader, Ryan Cyrillic's got massive pressure from Lance Campbell once again. Now that they've done their pit stops, these guys look to battle away for the race win.
It's the first time I'm looking through the live chat in this broadcast. Jess is saying 666 FTW. That is in relation to Ed Delano, who's running in 4th in GT4. He has been in the wars already, Jess, in case you didn't already know. So he's got a lot to do if he's to rescue his race. James L. Sim Sports is coming with his saying he keeps getting buffering trying to watch the stream.
Yeah,
that might be you.
I did try and give him some tech advice, saying maybe try watching a few seconds off of live. I wasn't experiencing any buffering. There's been no dropped frames either in my OBS, but he has now tried it on his phone, and apparently it's working properly. So that's good that we're able to get James sorted with that there as well. Dinny's asked us too in the chat, Tom. Justin Bock has made a request that firstly we thank you for the broadcast, but also we talked to him a lot. We have a focus on the Cotterman blood feud. Well, there was a heavy blood feud between the Cottermans in qualifying, but unfortunately because of the incident on lap 1, it meant that they haven't actually been able to battle on track for position here, Tom. just kind of taking away the opportunity for us to talk about the father-son rivalry and those guys battling away for possibly a race win tonight. It's kind of been ripped out of our hands, actually.
Yep, and it's the son who's down the order in 7th in GT3 Pro. He's got around about 9 seconds to make up on Mark Hosier. In fact, he's ahead of Hosier, apparently, according to the times train. I was looking at the wrong driver. Anthony Crownover is in 7th position behind Mark Hosier. Jacob Kotterman is running in 5th position. He's now round about, how far is he off the next car? He's running about 4 seconds off Brian Scott. Yeah, so he's got a little bit of ground to make up still. He has made his stop. I think everyone has made a pit stop now in this race. The only driver that hasn't, that he's still running, is John Foyt, who had that stay in the pit lane. We expect him to come in for some fuel and tyres very soon.
Unfortunately, because the timing reset when I had to reload the overlays here, we missed out on what lap he initially pitted on due to that contact earlier in the race, but we do expect him to need to come in again, Tom, to get to the end here of this race tonight. But Ogier battling away at the moment with Scott Petrone, who is in the GT3 Pro class. Ogier's in that Pro-Am class as well. So these guys battling for position on the road. The reason I shout this out is this was Ogier's moment up at pit lane earlier on. We saw him sideways as the race leader came in. He lost the rear end approaching pit lane. I don't think he even meant to come into pit lane. Moved out of the way though. Luckily for Nathan Biggett, he was not involved in that. And I think Ogier's pretty lucky actually when he crossed those cones that he didn't get an unsafe pit entry and got a drive through. So he's come out unscathed from that one.
Get involved in the live chat if you ever so wish to do so. We'll make sure we mention you. If you have any questions for us very well to answer, then do please ask those questions on what you've been seeing so far. And that moment for Mark Hosier we saw earlier, I think that was whilst Nathan Biggett came in for his stop. It was a little bit weird actually the way he spun at pin entry, although he didn't intend to come in for a pit stop that time. Right involved with Steve Smith in 5th position, who has got Laken Shaw ahead of him. Now Laken Shaw is another 7 seconds in front, so the car ahead of Smith on the road is not Laken Shaw. That will be a car from a different... It's Jed Cotterman, yeah. So Jed Cotterman is going through ahead of what looks like a GT4, of which both Cotterman and Smith had overtaken.
Yeah, if we compare the overall positions of the race at the moment, Jed Cotterman, who leads the GT3 Pro-Am class, is P5 overall this race. Stephen Smith is P6, so these guys are battling for overall position at the moment, even though they are in 2 separate classes. That's how we can kind of see the differential now on the, obviously the grouped headers with the GT3 Pros and Pro-Ams and Ams and Rookies. So these guys are battling, and they've been battling away all race, Tom. I mean, they've been pretty much together the whole time. Jed has not been able to shake off Stephen Smith. Laken Shaw, we saw him earlier, got past Jed for this position. Smith would love to get past Jed Cotterman though, but he has got 7 seconds to catch up to Laken Shaw. It'll feel like a world away at the moment with only 22 minutes left to run. If
Jed Cotterman was running in the pros, he'd be ahead of Stephen Smith, obviously. He'd be running in 5th place overall.
Yeah.
So it's been a stunning effort from Jed.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. As I said earlier on, he'll even admit himself, he's thrown away a couple of wins this season through small mistakes or through getting caught out with other drivers. But at the moment, he is driving the race of his life at this stage and driving incredibly clean, very patient. You saw him then. He waited for Carlos Sierra to let him pass then, the GT4 rookie car. He didn't just shoot it up the inside. He let him know he was there. He then just got the nice tight inside line at that last corner and then got through nice and easily. So for Jed, he's running a very clean, consistent race and driving one of his best races of the season. And at this stage, he looks unchallenged for that Pro-Am win because Andrew Voigt is 15 or nearly 17 seconds, back off of Jed Cotterman at the moment.
Yeah, oh, that's the number 26 going off the circuit. That will be Andrew Voigt, who He's lost more ground there too. Jake Conley did very well to collect the car up by the time he got to Le Mans corner. It looks like the GT4 AM of John Voigt has come back into the pit lane with some form of damage. That'll be needing to be rectified before he can head back out again. We've lost a car from each of the classes, so just 4 retirements so far. David Gallant, we've lost John Swan. We also lost Pat Green and Matt Leroux. This is on the exit of Le Mans corner.
Oh, that there is... that's
John Voigt.
Yeah, it's not a nice move, unfortunately, for John. Sorry, for John. It's a big mistake, and yeah, he'll be licking his wounds for a little while, I think, Tom. I think that there very likely could be race over for him with that meatball flag now on that car. You mentioned, though, 1 car from each class has been out of the race, so if John actually gets going again, we'll be nice and balanced. It'll be back down to 1 per class is now retired. We would need a GT4 rookie, a GT3 Pro, and a GT3 Pro to not finish this race. If Voigt were to not finish, just so we could have 2 from each class and keep everybody's brains happy by seeing 2 cars from each class as a non-finisher.
Well, Nathan Biggett will be hoping not to be that driver from the GT3 Pro to drop out of this, considering how brilliant of a drive he's put on again here in Sebring. We're looking at Daniel Pino, who flashes his headlights at the car that's ahead of him. Now, he'll know that that's not the race leader. I mean, that would have been a little bit not so etiquette type if you just try to flash your headlights at the driver that you claim that is a lap down on you when in actual fact it's the race leader. But that time around, he got by one of the back markers and he can get on with going after Nathan Biggett for the lead. We've got just over 18 minutes left to go in this race. I would say we've got 10 laps at most left in this one. It's going to be a 30-lap race for the leaders in GT3 Pro. I think for AMS it'll be no more than 28. And right now it is Ryan Cyrillic who's leading the GT4s ahead of Lance Campbell and Cole Marley.
So we've seen over the last 4 laps since both Biggett and Pino had come through pit lane, the gaps roundabout stayed at roughly about 4.9 to 5 seconds over the last sort of 5 or so laps. So Pino's, he's running really good pace. In fact, he did a 1:59 last lap. Biggett did a 2-minute 0.5. But he's got to find some pace here over the next 18 minutes if he hopes to chase down the race leader. It looks to be out of shape at the moment. Looks to be out of sorts. It could happen, but it's going to be a tough effort for Pino to chase down the race leader at the moment. If you look at the lap times both of them have previously done, Pino running in the 2 minutes. Biggett has gone slower, faster, slower, faster, slower over the last 5 laps. Of course, lap 16 was his pit stop lap, so he was always going to go slower. We'll see if the next lap he's gone faster than Pino to keep that going, or if Pino's managed to make a gain on him across this lap.
We'll see soon enough when Pino goes over the line. There is a GT4 ahead of him that he'll need to dispose. Well, Biggett's got by another of the GT4s. And on that lap, Biggett's time was reduced only by a few hundredths. So
Yeah,
nothing for him to be worried about.
Yeah, barely anything. That'll be traffic that had a part to play for both drivers on that lap. So Pino not making the sort of gains that he needs to if he wants to chase down the race leader. Driver, though, who does not need to chase down the race leader is Lance Campbell, because he is stuck right on the rear wing of Ryan Cyrillic's Mercedes-AMG GT4 car. And this battle for the race lead, Tom, it feels like it's been going on for about 43 minutes and 40 seconds at this stage. These guys have not left each other alone the whole race. And it looks to me they're going to battle this all the way to the checkered flag, which we'd love to see.
And we've got the overall leader that's coming out to lap them. That will be... Oh, there is Nathan Biggett on the inside there. He's going to get held up by Lance Campbell. That is not an ideal part of the circuit. This is the problem when you get held up by traffic in the infield. There goes Nathan Biggett. We want to see Daniel Pino, whether he's taken advantage of it. He will have gained some time. No doubt about that.
I mean, actually more like 7/10. That was a massive loss for Biggett, and that's helped Pino quite a fair bit there, Tom. You can see there he is right there. he's going to catch them by probably Lamar Corner and get them before sunset. So this has worked out really well for Pino, comparatively to Bigot, who's dropped time thanks to that traffic. And that gap's now under 4 seconds, so that's really worked out well for Pino there.
Yeah, well, the only problem for Pino is that he has to get by these as well. So it could well be, and I think the likelihood is that he's going to get held up in the infield because he's not close enough to get by these two before the track narrows out at turn 1. There you can see right on board with Daniel Pino exiting Sunset. He might get by one of them on the pitch lane, maybe two if he can help it, and might have to fight his way through. Well, he doesn't have to fight his way through. There goes both Campbell and Cyrillic, who can get on with their own battle in the GT4 AM class. And I have to say, Daniel Pino, on that last lap, comparing the lap times between him and Nathan Bigot, he took very nearly 9/10 out of him.
Yeah, the traffic played such a massive part there in Pino being able to cut down this lead. He needs Bigot to catch more traffic, probably at that exact same spot. I don't think it helped that the lapped GT3 car, who also came past those GT4s, which I believe is Mark. No, it's not even Mark Ogier. Who is it?
Is it Jacob Kotzman?
No, it's Anthony Cronova in the Ferrari. So it's Cronova. The Ferrari was looking very McLaren-esque in these darker conditions, I must say. It was challenging the eyesight just a little bit, but Cronova, who's now got Pino behind him, I mean, he's not. I don't think he'll make Pino's life too hard. He should let him go because he'll have blue flags. But it didn't help Bigot that Cronova caught the GT4s the same time that Bigot did, which then held him up even more so when he was trying to traverse that traffic. So for Pino, he's just on the tail now, that Ferrari. I would say Cronova's just going to pull over to the right-hand side, maybe lift a little bit, and he's actually going to go off track, so that'll make Pino's job even easier for him. So thank you, Anthony. That lets him by, and now Pino can chase down the race leader.
He has lost a little bit of time though. He took a wide line through Le Mans to get him some speed all the way down the back straight. So he's definitely lost time on this lap as Pino. What about Bigot? Is he coming up to any more traffic as we speak? It's inevitable he will do. Yeah, so there's another car ahead of him. It looks like a Mercedes that he's coming up to. Correct me if I'm wrong with that.
It's a McLaren.
I can
Close
say
enough.
It's a McLaren.
Yeah, it's a McLaren.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, Mark Ogier is the one that we're looking at, who could potentially get in the way of Nathan Bigot, depending on whereabouts on the circuit he holds him up at. Yeah, you can tell that Bigot's coming out in a rate of knots, so I think he will end up getting held up a little bit in the infield, which can only benefit Daniel Pino, who is coming towards the right-hander of this course called the Hairpin. Went through Gurney Bend, and it'll be the Fangio chicane that they will navigate through. And so far, Bigot has not caught up to Ogier, but it looks like there is another back marker that they're coming to as well. So that may make life a little bit more tricky for Nathan Bigot.
Yeah, this is
12 minutes to go.
This is the worst possible moment that they could have caught this GT4 car, Tom. And he's lucky the fact that Ogier can get past the Porsche nice and easily. It's not going to hold Bigot up too much, but now he's got to try and figure out a way past that McLaren. Otherwise, he's going to get really held up, and that's going to cost him a bunch of time to Pino. Oh, it's getting tight. It could be an interesting battle to the end of this race. There is Pino chasing down Nathan Bigot. Has he been fuel saving as well, Tom? That's a factor we need to think of too. Remember, he pitted before the half-an-hour mark of this race. Has he been fuel saving to make it home? Or will he need one more stop in this one to make that to get that Merc to the checkered flag at the end of this race?
I wouldn't be able to tell you off the top of my head at this moment in time. What I can say is that Pino has gained time on Bigot through the traffic. He's already got by the... I think that was that Ogier who got by? No, it can't be Ogier. It has to be the GT4 which they got past.
Which I'm not even sure which one it is, to be honest with you. It was Andrew Halloran. That was who it was.
And the Napa livery as well. And we've lost another car in GT3 Pro That will
Scott
be
Petrone.
Scott Petrone.
Oh no,
The...
I've also seen as well that I think Jacob Cotterman is also out of this race as well, Tom. He appears to have disconnected, so I wonder if he's had some internet demons that has knocked him out of this race. That might scare Jed because they're racing in the same house, and if it's kicked Jacob, it could kick Jed as well in the race lead of that Pro-Am class. You'd hate to see him lose it now with only 10 minutes to go.
I'm seeing a black flag also for Aidan Kiley on the timing page. I'm hope it's not what I think it is, but I've got a feeling, I don't know whether he's been given some form of penalty that he has to serve. We'll find out more on that in a moment. Yeah, we are seeing a few developments happening right here and then. There goes Nathan Biggett, lapping another of the GT4s, and it won't be too long before Daniel Pino catches up to that.
So I've seen as well, Stephen Smith has now also dropped below David Steiner and Ryan Bajole. Of course, he was trying to get past Jed Cotterman for the longest time in this race, was that BMW. Oh, Pino could not have asked for a better time for that GT4 car to move out of his way. That has not held him up at all. Gap's about 3.6 seconds. 9 minutes to go in this race, just about. And Pino is flying at the moment. He is trying to rocket this car to a race win. He's got 3.6 seconds to chase down to Nathan Biggett. But Biggett has got no room to lift. He has to keep pushing over these last 9 minutes. Otherwise, Pino's going to eat him alive and catch up to him. So for Biggett now, he'll be feeling that pressure. He does not feel like the pressure's been lifted at all, because you can see how hard that Pino is pushing. And the fact that he's pushing so hard means that Biggett's going to be pushing just as hard to get past more traffic across this race. So it's going to be a sweaty end for Nathan Biggett, whether he wins this or not here, Tom. Let's have a quick look at what happened to Stephen Smith in amongst that GT3 class. Oh, he just went round on his own. He caught the curb at Lamar Corner and then straight into the wall. Wow.
It wasn't a hard hit, but it was enough for him to drop down the order. He couldn't rejoin as soon as he would like to have done, otherwise it would have been a collision. Aidan Kiley came into the pits with damage, but as he comes back out, there's still that black flag showing there. I don't know why that is still there on the timing page.
I wonder if he hit the incident limit, Tom. Oh my God. So it was the same spot that Smith went round and the same spot that John Voigt went round earlier on. And he's just backed it up off the road, trying to get it going again. Yeah, I wonder if maybe he hit the incident limit, and that's why he's been given a black flag and a drive-through. Possibly. That's the only thought that I could have as to why that's occurred. So I see as well Jacob Cotterman's rejoined the server. He's back in pit lane, so hopefully he gets back out on track and tries to continue on, but he is at the very back of the field in the GT3 Pro-Am class now. I think it's got about 3.6 seconds between him and Daniel Pino, with 7 minutes left to run in this race. Looks to be insurmountable at the moment for Pino, but he is still chasing him down. Andrew Voigt hot on the heels now of Stephen Smith. Inter-class battle happening here between the Pro-Ams and the Pros. Clodden trying to chase him down as well to snap up P2 in the GT3 Pro-Am class, as Andrew Halloran has a moment in that Porsche in the GT4s, Tom, and it's all happening now. It is falling by the wayside for a lot of drivers.
Yeah, and losing a few more as we speak. There we see the spin from Andrew Holloman. A slight tap with the wall, but nothing major done there. Ryan Surelik still leading the GT4s ahead of Lance Campbell by 3 seconds now. He's just able to pull out a little bit of a margin, but not too much, as the leaders are coming through. Or just looking whereabouts on the circuit they are on their 27th lap. Nathan Biggett and Daniel Pino. It will be a 30-lap race. There'll be 3 more laps to go after this one. And right now, it's looking like another victory going in the way of the Mustang. He will get up to another back marker or 2, but that'll be all of what he'll have to face. And but he has to say he hasn't put a foot wrong there, has he?
No, he hasn't. He's driven arguably a perfect race. He's really made up for his mistakes over the last few weeks with his spins that he's had. Probably up there with his most impressive drive, which currently standing was Red Bull Ring, where he started at the back of the GT3 field and went on to win the race. So, you know, this is up there as impressive drives are concerned. Daniel Pino's driven a great race as well. He just, you know, the fact that Biggett took 2 seconds less worth of fuel in the pit stop meant he probably saved enough to do that, and probably was confident in his fuel saving ability to get the car to the end. But with 5 minutes left, gap's about 3.7 seconds. There's not much more Pino can do at the moment than, other than hope and pray that Biggett catches some traffic and it holds him up.
1:59.7 Biggett posted. Pino has done a 2 minutes dead. 3/10 that Biggett has made up over Pino on the last tour alone. And then a further half a minute back is Justin Bock, who really has not had a lot to do in this race. As the light continues to fade, the headlights are on, and we're nearly home. Just 3 laps to go for Nathan Biggett, and that he'll be extending his margin at the top, but at least Daniel Pino will continue to score points. And there you can see Justin Bolt with a 2:06, and that tells you the difference in regards to the pace between the top 3.
Well, if we look back a little bit further, Tom, we've got a good battle just starting to form here with Kenneth Clodden and Stephen Smith. Andrew Voigt's managed to get past that BMW now. So he's put a car between him and P3 in the Pro-Am class. So that'll give him some wiggle room now over the next 4 minutes or so. But for Clodden, he's got some really good pace on board that McLaren. We saw him involved in the incident earlier on with Jacob Cotterman. And I think Brian Scott was possibly the other one as well. Maybe Lake and Shaw. It was one of the other Mustangs. There are a lot of them amongst this GT3 class, it must be said. There are 7 of them, in fact. But it's been a great race thus far, Tom. I mean, yes, we've had the field spread a little bit, but we've had some really good battles, and it's been a really interesting chase down by Pino to try and catch the race leader. Yes, it's probably not going to work out for him here tonight, and Biggett's probably going to go on to win the race. But it's been a very intriguing night on the road here at Sebring, and it excites me for next week at Road Atlanta, where we know it's a short, sharp track, really tight, and if we get into a similar scenario tonight where the race leader is being chased down by P2 and traffic's going to be a factor, Road Atlanta is probably one of the worst places you could catch traffic, because it is such a tight circuit and there aren't that many opportunities to get past lap traffic around that course.
Road Atlanta is one to look forward to in 7 days' time. Stefan Jacobi in... Oh, that's the collision there.
Oh.
That's Kenneth Clodden. Now, that was with a GT3 Pro. That was Steve Smith that he came together with. Now, he's got a big enough margin over Tristan Richard to keep hold of P7, but I reckon that Clodden is going to be hit with a penalty probably post-race for that, because that was most definitely avoidable. Steve Smith has come to a halt, and he's probably picked up damage from it, and he's back to pit lane.
Yeah, that there was... Oh, well, that was him pulling over, actually, so let's get his other off-track. Here we go. So he had Clodden try and shoot the half and send it up the inside. I don't really know why he's gone for that move there. Smith was not prepared for that car to be right alongside him. It was a very last-minute attempt. And unfortunately, he's just served him off the road there, Tom. So it's a very unfortunate incident for Stephen Smith, and I think you might be right. I feel like Clodden may get penalised post-race for that incident there. We've got 1.5 minutes to go. One more lap to run at Sebring. 3.7 seconds is the gap between the race leader, Nathan Biggett, and Daniel Pino in behind him. If Biggett were to win tonight, it will be his 6th race win of the season. He is one of 3 drivers to win thus far. The other 2, Daniel Pino, who's won once before, and Ryan Bajole, who broke the streak of Biggett's at the start of the season. White flag that though, Tom. 1 to go for Biggett, and 1 more until he gets his 6th race win.
White flag for the race leader. We've seen a few drivers just come into the pits on that last lap there. Probably just the need to get a splash and dash before the checker flag comes out. So we've lost 3 drivers from GT3 Pro, 2 from GT3 Pro Am, 2 from GT4 Am, and 1 from GT4 Rookie. Aidan Kiley has just come into the pits as well. Hopefully it's just for a quick splash and dash to make sure he gets to the checker flag. He has got Ed Delano, who's also just pitted as well. He'll be gaining ground, but Kiley should keep hold of the final podium position in GT4 Rookie. But Nathan Biggett on course for win number 6 of the season from 7 rounds. What a beautiful season is turning out to be for him. And just to correct myself, it's race 8, not race 7. So it'll be 6 wins from 8 for Nathan Biggett. And what a remarkable drive he has done here today.
Yeah, it's been phenomenal for Nathan. Only given up 2 wins thus far this season. Let me have a quick look at where they were. Out at Alton Park, and then the week after it into Lagos as well. So, it was a tough few weeks. He made it up by getting a win last week at Daytona by the barest of margins, mind you, to Daniel Pino, with what was an incredible chase down for Biggett. And now tonight he's going to back it up here at the home of the Sebring 12 Hour by looking to take home his 6th race win of the season. We've gone into slight overtime here, Tom, but what a great race it has been for Nathan Biggett at the front of the field.
Nathan Biggett exits Sunset for the last time. The checker flag is waiting for him. And Nathan Biggett wins again. This time in Sebring, he wins in the High Point Racing GT Challenge and takes a giant step closer to taking the title. He was over a race win ahead of everyone else and he's extended the margin further. 4 seconds behind is Daniel Pino, and then we have to wait over half a minute for Justin Bock to complete the podium in the GT3 Pro class. Jed Cotterman should be coming through to take victory in the GT3 Pro AMs. And it will be Ryan Surelik in the GT4 AM. And it'll be what looks like Andrew Holloman's got through on Carlos Sierra. We didn't see what happened to Sierra.
He had a moment right before the checkered flag flew. So we'll have a look at that post-race there, Tom. Just riding with Jed Cotterman here as he takes another win for himself this season in the GT3 Pro-Am class. So great effort from him. Nathan Biggett, by the way, set the fastest lap of the race on that final lap, 1:59.47. Absolutely ridiculous stuff. Beat the previous fastest lap set by Daniel Pino by 0.2 of a second. That is ridiculous. Ridiculous from Biggett to be able to do that. So Halloran will look to take the race win for the GT4 rookie class as Ryan Cerulik comes on through for the AMs and will take victory on board that Mercedes AMG GT4 car. Flashes of the headlights, takes the race win in a fantastic effort, and then Andrew Halloran is just about to enter Sunset and about to take home a race win. And it kind of then reaps the importance, Tom, of why you should try and stay in it, why you should try and stay in as long as possible. We saw Halloran have a couple of spins in this race, but he stayed in the fight, and it paid out for him in the end because he ended up taking the race win. This is what arguably handed him the race win, though, with Carlos Sierra. In fact, Sierra was right on the tail of Halloran. He was a lap ahead of him. And there was a GT3 car who came through, made contact. It was Brian Scott, P9 in the GT3 class overall, P3 in the GT3 Pro-Ams, and it's cost Carlos Sierra a race win. And your heart has to go out to him for that one.
Yeah, there'll be some form of investigation for that because that, in my opinion, that did look avoidable. So Carlos Sierra has every reason to feel dejected by that. And we'll leave that for the stewards to decide. I won't speculate anything until we are sure of what the verdict will be later. Let's have a look. Let's have a rundown on the race result then. We'll begin with the GT3 Pros. Nathan Biggett wins ahead of Daniel Pino with Justin Bott running out the podium. Lakin Shaw is fourth, followed by Ryan Boscioli in fifth place. It's David Steiner and Tristan Richard. We lost Steve Smith, Scott Petrone, and David Gallant in there. In the GT3 Pro AMs, Jed Cotterman takes the honours in that, over half a minute clear over Kenneth Clodden, with Brian Scott in third place. Andrew Voigt in fourth, and it's Mark Ozier and the Cronover. We lost Jacob Cotterman and John Swan before the end of that. In GT4 AMS, it is Ryan Surelik winning out only by over 5 seconds on Lance Campbell, with Daniel Nuns running out the podium in that. Then it's Stefan Jacobi. Cole Marley was down to 5th place in the closing laps, but remained on the lead lap in that. Tyler Hammond also made it to the end, unlike John Voigt and Pat Green. And finally, in the GT4 rookies, Andrew Hullerman stealing the win right at the end over Carlos Sierra, who crashed out, but at least he ended up in second position. Aidan Kiley made it to third place, with Ed Delano in fourth position. The only driver that did not make it to the end, apart from Carlos Sierra that crashed out, was Matt LaRue. So that is that rounds it off, and I think we can get some interviews with.
We've got Mr. Sarulik already in here, hungry for an interview tonight. The GT4 winner overall, and the AM winner as well, Tom.
Excellent, Ryan. Good to meet you. Just some of that race from your perspective. How was it?
It was great. I completely botched the start. I thought a GT3 McLaren was Lance, so I saw the McLaren start speeding off because he waited a little bit before going to the rest of the GT3 field. So I was like, oh, okay, that's Lance. We're going to go now since we've created a small gap since the warm-up lap is basically nothing. So I started going, and then the GT3 took off to try and catch the GT3 field since that's what he's supposed to do because he's going to be late. So I took off after him, and I just completely left everyone. I jumped the hell out of the start. So I pulled over to the side and let everyone go by till I was P5, and I just had to start making up positions there. So I just had to slowly work my way through. Great battle with Lance in the middle. So
some of your seasons so far, then, Ryan, because we've been to a lot of venues, particularly the ones like Daytona that the championship was at last week. We've also been to the Red Bull Ring, Alton Park as well. But how has the championship been for you?
I joined a little late. I came in at Alton and didn't do so great there. Then went to Interlagos and I spun from the lead there. I won last week and I won this week, so I don't know where I'm looking for the points. But considering I've missed at least a round or two, I don't know how I'm looking for the championship contention. But I'm still gonna run, try and get as many wins as I can, and see where it goes from there.
Nice. Any of the remaining rounds we're going to? We've got Road Atlanta next week. How do you think you'll fare over there compared to here?
I'll probably do all right. I mean, a lot of these tracks I've done for IMSA LMP2 for the VSEA, so I know the tracks well. I don't know the car combo. Like heading into today, the 40 minutes of practice was pretty much all I had to learn the track today. So I'll see what I can get done there. I know the track again. I know the car, just don't know the two of them mixed. So we'll see.
Anyone you want to shout out to, Ryan, before we let you go?
Yeah, teammate Alexander Jacoby ended up fastest lap. I think by less than 100th over me. So really proud of him. Wasn't enough to get podium, but got P4 very close. So yeah.
Ryan, thank you very much, and the best of luck to Road Atlanta next week. Well done on picking up the GT4 and win this evening.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Ryan Surelik taking victory in the GT4 AMS ahead of Lance Campbell. Nicely done by him. Who shall we bring in next, Hamish? Who have we got lined up?
Let's bring in Andrew Halloran, who won out inevitably by a lap on the rest of the GT4 rookie class. Andrew, congratulations on your race win. As proud as you should feel for taking that race win, is there a little bit of what if Carlos didn't get hit by that GT3 car on the last lap and pretty much handed you the win by a full lap over him? I mean, it was a solid performance to put yourself in the position to take the win in that scenario, but almost feels like it was stolen from Carlos in the end there. I mean, our hearts went out to him. Does your heart go out to him as well?
Yeah, that's just racing. It can be a tough spot sometimes. I'm not sure why he had to pit, but I saw that, it told me he was pitting, and I went by him and I was like, did I really just get this one? And then but I didn't creep too far away because he had come out of the pit exit and we were side by side. So I believe I I put him in a difficult spot going into that corner because he was so focused on, trying to get me because he just wanted his win back. When somebody passes me for a win, I feel like I get a lot of adrenaline too. So he probably was just focused on that, and I just saw him get wiped out by a GT3. So that's a tough one. That's a tough one to lose, but that's how it works sometimes. And I'll take the win I can get. I mean, I wanted to beat Carlos, but I didn't want to beat him, like that. So, and then there's some other stuff too I need to clear up. I believe that somebody's mad at me because I got in him in the final corner. I if that's not allowed or something, then I take responsibility for that. But if that's my fault, so I'll have to have a look at that. But it's nice to get 2 in a row, both in the state of Florida. For some reason, that's
the home of retirees in the US. Go retire down to the Keys and get.
Yeah. I got Road Atlanta coming up. That one's a special one, but shout out to Virtue Supercars, Napa, all the guys on here, Victory Fuel, for being on here once again, and I'm looking forward to Road Atlanta, hometown, so I'm ready for that one.
Now, Andrew, I just want to quickly ask you before we let you go. We mentioned on the broadcast, we had a little bit of a discussion about it, and obviously it's important to understand your guys' perspective too, obviously in amongst that rookie class. Do you think it would be beneficial if all the GT4s were classed together instead of being split with rookies and AMs, or do you like the fact that there are 2 classes in that GT4 class as a driver, specifically a driver within that rookie class who has just taken a race win?
I guess it goes both ways. Sometimes it can be good or bad depending on how many show up, but I kind of like it the way it is now because it gives guys of similar pace a chance to battle for something more than what the relative says they're running. So when mentally when I caught up to Carlos, I was not battling for 8th. I was battling for a win. That feels so much more fun for somebody who might not be able to get to the guys who are actually racing for the win on iRacing's standpoint, right? So I think it goes both ways, but I like it the way it is. But if they change it, they change it if they are planning on it. But
I don't know if
like
they are or
way.
not. I don't know if they are or not. We just brought it up because I said, I think it might be better if we're getting this amount of GT4 cars to put them together and merge them. But I would also like to see more GT4s on track because there's been some great battling amongst the GT4s this season. Unfortunately, it's just been coming from the front of the AM field. We want to see more rookies out there having a crack and really getting into GT4 racing because it's such a fun form of racing. Unfortunately, the GT3s are just so popular they might verge to try and go straight for GT3. But hopefully we see more GT4s next season. Carlos, you've already given your shout-outs. You've done a fantastic effort here tonight to take home a race win in the GT4 rookie class. Thanks so much for coming and have a chat to us here this evening. Hopefully we'll be having a chat to you next week at Road Atlanta as well. But until then, best of luck, and best of luck across your practice this week as well.
Appreciate it. And got another one for the Oval guys out there. We can do it too.
Yeah, you can indeed. All right, thank you so much, Andrew. Tom, I mean, a great race amongst those GT4 cars, but I think we have to give a shout out to probably his best driver of the season, Jed Cotterman in that GT3 Pro-Am class. Absolutely fantastic effort.
I couldn't agree more. He's he ended up getting involved in anyone else's incidents really, and he's kept it clean all the way through. And he won by quite some margin. Did Jed? Jed, good sir, how are you?
Good, man. What's going on?
Not too bad, thank you. Just some of that race for you, perhaps maybe in the opening stages of that, with all the pandemonium that was going on, but you somehow was able to avoid all that and just have a clean race from there.
Yeah. Kenneth and Justin and Jacob got into it on the first lap. I was able to get through that, and I was just super, super cautious through sunrise or sunset or whatever the hell it is. And I was just trying to be consistent. That's what I try to do week after week, is just be consistent. And it's been paying off. I probably could have got 4th. Forgot to uncheck my tires. So that out lap cost me some time. Lincoln got by me, and he probably would have anyway. He's just ridiculously fast. But yeah, I think it was a really, really great race. The last two league races here at Sebring, I've actually finished fourth and fifth, top in my class. So I got no complaints. I wish I could have kept up with Justin a little longer and kept a draft, but you know, those top 3 or 4 guys they're in a whole nother league compared to me. But I'm just gonna keep chugging along.
How have you fared in the Mustang then compared to a lot of the other manufacturers? I mean, has the Ford Mustang sort of played into your strengths a little bit? What have you tried out of the GT3s?
Well, I absolutely refuse to run the McLaren because I think every race is a McLaren Cup. So my stubbornness doesn't allow me to run the McLaren. I'm a Ford guy at heart. I own a Mustang personally, so that's my car of choice. If I was to choose a second car, I think I would go BMW. I've gotten comfortable with it, and once I've learned, it just shifts so much differently than the Mustang. But um, yeah, I'd probably say BMW or the Mercedes.
Just how your season's been going, because I've only just caught up with this championship today, really. But how has this GT championship treated you? Which circuits have been best from your eyes?
Well, this is my third win here, Interlagos, and God, that's terrible. I don't even remember the other one. Red Bull Ring, maybe? Yeah, Red Bull Ring. I have been either super hot or cold. Daytona, terrible. Road America, terrible. Um, there's no middle ground with me. I either do really, really well or I just stink.
Anyone you want to shout out to, Jed, before we let you go?
Just just the guys in the league. We had some incidents tonight. I'm gonna have to go back and review. We got a couple guys that unfortunately need to be reminded about patience and whatnot. So just the guys in the league that keep showing up week after week. The broadcasters. I think you guys do just an absolute fantastic job representing the product that we try to put out. And my son Jacob, he just came in my room and he's completely heartbroken and upset. He wants to do so well at Sebring, but he can't finish a race for whatever reason. He was having some PC issues tonight, so Dad's gonna have to buy him a new PC
He
and
didn't
get
just
him on
have
the right track.
he didn't just have PC issues, Jed. He had a McLaren issue as well, where 2 of them decided to make contact right behind him and cause him to go off track on that one. So, yeah,
Yeah,
that probably doesn't help.
I saw. No, I know, and then when you're 30 seconds into a 60-minute race, it does take the wind out of your sails. But he's still really really new, and I mean, damn, he out qualified me, and I've been racing and iRacing for 4 years now, so he's got so much potential, but he's got to toughen up a little bit, and I love him to death, but we just got to keep practicing, and I guess that's just part of racing. Same with me. You can practice for a week straight and something happens and you get taken out lap 1, or you overdrive and you cost yourself a win. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just racing. But when I know he puts his heart and soul into it, and he has an unfortunate event like that with Justin and Kenneth or whatever, I got to go back and watch it. But he'll come back. He's not a big fan of the next couple tracks, so I'm gonna have to sit down with him and get him a little more comfortable with Bathurst and Road Atlanta. So 2 tracks I'm really really comfortable at.
Just tell him to send it over the top at Bathurst. Send it and hope for the best.
Yeah. Well, he's really really good under braking. So I think the mountain going down, once I show him a line and he just puts in some time, I think he'll be fine. He's just got to get over that mental block that he's got going on right now.
Yeah, I think learn to not lift and coast, but throttle control across the top. don't necessarily need to brake to be fast between turn 4 and Skyline. You just need to try and keep the pace in the car, and he'll find some time. So, but Jed,
Yeah, he'll be fine.
he will. Well, Jed, congratulations, fantastic race win, really good to see. One of your best drivers of the whole season. So, congrats on getting that done, and thanks so much for coming and have a quick chat to myself and Tom.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you like that red paint. I'm bringing it back next week just for you.
Yeah, let's go. All right, best of luck, Jed. Look forward to seeing how you go at Road Atlanta.
All right, thanks, buddy.
Thank you. I mean, what a great race for Jed tonight, Tom. But I think as well, really good to see Jacob trying to be resilient even after such a tough start to that race for him.
Yeah, and full credit to him and best of luck to Road Atlanta next week. Let's have a word with tonight's overall winner, Nathan Biggett, in the Ford Mustang. A brilliant race from you, a commanding one after getting by Daniel Pino at some point in the race before the pit stops had arrived. Was it that easy?
Honestly, it was, because I was saving fuel behind Daniel, and I believe it was around like lap 8. I think he realized that, and he just let me by. Like, he just pulled over and let me by. So it really was a little too easy tonight. I continued, even after he went by, I continued to just save fuel and was able to save extra lap. And just that right there gained me like 2-3 seconds on the pit stop. I was able to gap him, get him out of the draft, and that was pretty much it. Just held from there. Got lucky through traffic. Wasn't held up too much to lose too much of it to him. And by saving the fuel, it saved the tires. Was fast at the end. Went hard on the last lap, and yeah, it was just a cruise tonight for sure.
Is that 6 wins this season? Because Hamish said to me that it was 6 wins this campaign for you. Or have you just lost
Yep.
count on that?
Yeah, I'm not really sure what it is. There's been a couple I didn't win though. That's for sure.
It claimed 5 leading into tonight on Sim Racer Hub, so I'm just going to claim it's your 6th win.
Yeah, that could be true.
Road Atlanta next week. What are we thinking there?
Well, honestly, that's probably one of my worst tracks. So I think Daniel, if he's there, will have. If he's good at that track, he's definitely got the upper hand for sure. I'll probably try to do a little bit of practice this week, seeing how I'm not great there, and I'm enjoying the league and enjoying doing well. So I'll probably put some time in, try to get better at it. But yeah, we'll see where people are at that track. But I know normally in officials, I'm about 2-3 seconds off of the fast guys. So there's definitely a shot for someone to take it away next week.
Anyone want to shout out to Nathan before we let you go?
I'll just give a shout out to the High Point guys, all the admins, everybody that does everything for us to just come out and have a good time. Really appreciate all the work they put in. MotorMouth Broadcasting, appreciate you guys. Really enjoy going back watching the races on Thursdays. And all the fans out there watching. My number 1 fan likes to watch my broadcast. Love you, Mom.
That's really nice of you. Nathan, very well done this evening, holding Daniel Pino off to the end and coming away with another win and taking another step closer to the overall title this time around.
Thank you.
Nathan Biggett coming out on top there tonight, and what a race we were treated to, Hamish.
Yeah, it was a great race. Unfortunately, I think just typical Sebring, inevitably the field begins to spread out. You know, that had nothing to do with the drivers on track tonight, I don't think. Now, yes, there were some that made some mistakes, but there was some great racing amongst it. There were some fantastic battles. That battle between Lance Campbell and Ryan Cerulik for majority of that race, one of the best we've seen in GT4. The chase down, trying to chase down Nathan Biggett for Daniel Pino, that was a tough effort. It was a real race of, 2 halves for us tonight, Tom. First half was nice, close battling with other cars. Second half was how well have you strategized, and has that worked to your benefit? For tonight, it worked in the benefit of Nathan Biggett for the GT3 Pro class as well. Fantastic race once again, though. Next week out at Road Atlanta, I'm excited. It's going to be a tough night for the drivers. Really tight track, tough to deal with traffic. Be interesting to see how it plays out for them.
Yep. Well done to Nathan Biggett, Jed Cotterman, Ryan Cerulik, and Andrew Halloran for winning their classes this evening. If you have enjoyed it, thank you very much. Do make sure you like and subscribe to the MotorMouth Broadcasting YouTube channel, and you can keep up to date with all the action that is being streamed on there. And thank you very much as well to you, Hamish, for being with me in the commentary position. We hope to do it all over again next week at Road Atlanta. It's time to sign off. I'm Tom Cairns, he's Hamish Munro, and we'll speak to you again soon when the High Point GT Challenge returns.